was Mombasa, Kenya. I'll never forget it. November 28, 2002. What was supposed to be a relaxing foreign assignment, just week-long junket writing about a Kenyan safari, ooh, never happened. Within minutes of my arrival at the Paradise Hotel, that idyllic world was blown apart forever.
This is how I remember it, as if it were yesterday. It's late. I don't even know what time it is. I'm on a chartered jet with several other journalists racing up the coast of Africa to cover the bombing of an Israeli-owned hotel in Kenya. And I can't believe I'm there, trailing yet another terror attack. I had left Israel the year before, trying to get away from the bombings, shootouts, and funerals of the Second Intifada. I took up my news agency's offer to cover Southern Africa instead. I was hungry to write about something else besides Arabs and Jews killing each other. I'll write about other people killing each other. We land in total darkness, and as I walk off the plane, I see the words, "The State of Israel." And there's the Prime Minister's official plane pulling up about 100 yards away. Israeli soldiers emerge from the blackness, and 16s thwacking against their backs. They're lugging crates of food, bananas, canned pickles, corn, and those mini plastic bags of chocolate milk, and I want to run up to them and say, "Hi, I'm Israeli, I'm one of you." More and more soldiers get off the plane. They're in rescue mode. Israeli soil, Kenyan soil, it doesn't matter. Fellow Israelis are in danger, and they're there. Amid the heat and drama of a terror attack in Kenya, I'm jolted by this almost involuntary pull to Israel, the country I've adopted as my own, but don't know how to commit to. I followed the soldiers into the airport, and later I check into my hotel, and I'm up reporting and filing stories all night.
I was the only English-speaking journalist there at the moment of the attack, so you can see my reports from that day on news websites everywhere. But that was just me on automatic pilot, doing my job in the worst conditions imaginable. I never got to talk about what it was like to live through the death of my tour guide. Two of the sweetest Israeli children, 10 Kenyans, and to be surrounded by so many physically wounded people. After 7 months of intense trauma counseling, I was presented by my therapist with a chart that over the course of months clearly delineated my ever-decreasing levels of depression, post-traumatic stress disorder levels, and my cognitive capacities concerning the event. And I was shocked. I was shocked at how traumatized I was. Particularly when I was lucky enough to survive the attack physically unscathed. Yeah, I keep thinking about how traumatized our entire nation must be. You know, it's hard enough to comprehend the sheer numbers involved when thinking of the families of all the dead and physically wounded. But then there's those silent statistics. You know, the ones that were there but walked away physically intact. Yeah, I know what they know because I'm one of them. I know what it is to be scared, truly scared, to jump every time you hear a car door slam, to wake in the middle of the night, sweat-soaked and crying uncontrollable, to fear that every time I walk out of that front door, it's going to be my last, to rail against God, to be racked with guilt, with questions of having lived when others died, to have to justify why you still have the privilege. And yes, it is a privilege to walk the streets every day. And I know what evil looks And believe me, it does have a face. I know this because I have seen it up close and personal. And I also know that these fears do subside. They never disappear, but most of the time they're controllable.
The next morning, I travel to the bombed-out hotel where I meet Alex Mioka, a 25-year-old tour guide who accompanied Israeli tourists on their visits to the island. And he has learned an impressive amount of Hebrew from them over the years. And when I tell him that I speak Hebrew too, he quickly pours out a fluent stream of words expressing his horror at what he called this evil. He also mourns his livelihood and wonders if he'll ever get a chance to use his Hebrew again.
You know, someone had said to me before Kenya that I, who passes out at the sight of my own blood, would take the actual shirt off my back to bandage a gaping hole in the wounded arm of a teenager, or would wipe blood, ash, and sweat off of a shaken child, or do a live radio interview just moments after learning that my tour guide had been killed. Whew, I'd say, you have got the wrong person. But I witnessed strangers support each other in ways I never thought imaginable. I don't even know the name of the couple who gave me a clean shirt after my suitcase had been blown up. But I know that I will be linked to them forever.
Soon after, I go to the funerals. Only now I'm not in a West Bank town or Jerusalem, but a village in Africa. And I see that the whole village has come to mourn. Relatives and neighbors wail a cry so piercing I shiver despite the heat. Men shovel soil into deep graves. I listen to the mother of one of the dead repeat to no one in particular, but my son does not even belong to any of these conflicts. I ask the villagers if they know where Israel is. Most of them don't.
We are a traumatized nation. That is inescapable, but we're also an extraordinarily resilient one. We will stand alongside our greatest enemies and our greatest fears and risk being bloodied and broken, but never bowed.
My day ends where it had begun, the night before on the blistering airport tarmac, now watching the last of the Israelis return home. I see the planes take off for Israel and ache to be on one of them. Now I know these are my people. Their country is my country. And I will soon find my way home again.